Our world had begun, but it was unformed and immeasurable. Volumes of land and sea covered the face of the planet, disconnected and disjointed. A dense fog held back fervent life, and only the mightiest trees crowned themselves upon the ground. There was no light and no darkness. The land was without contrast or competition. Some even believed that there was no life or death at all, and those that existed were merely elements of nature. It was beautiful in its calm and peace for a time. The gentle wings of dragons caressed the sky, masters of all above and beneath them. Their majesty took them above the ground, and they ruled uncontested. There was no equal to the supremacy of the dragons in the age of the ancients, nothing to match their place in the windless sky. Their demise would herald the Age of Fire. The Age of the Ancients began to pass with the glorious ignition of the first flame. At the advent of light, the world first knew dark, and so too death followed in its wake. Emerging out of the darkness, leaders landed on the world at the head of vast armies. The prime leader was named Gwyn, empowered above his followers by his discovery of a Lord Soul, an element of the first flame charged with magnificent power. With this, he was called Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his strength made him brave and defiant. Other leaders found their own Lord Souls, and they united with their incredible new powers. The first of the dead, Grave Lord Nito, had dominion over all those that had now died. The Witch of Izalith too found a Lord Soul. She used her new powers against her enemies, but later she would find them too great to control. Each leader was seen as a god and fought the rulers of the world, looking to usurp their position. The dragons had been invincible for an eternity, but their shards of armor were vulnerable to the power of light. Ripped asunder by Gwyn and the Witch of Izalith, and poisoned by the Grave Lord Nito, the dragons were murdered and soon relinquished their place as the rulers of this world. The Age of Fire had truly begun. The final Lord Soul was found by the furtive pygmy. His tale is forgotten, but it is said his ancestor will rise up to fulfill his task of ending the Age of Fire. It took Gwyn's tremendous power to decimate the dragon's rule, and with the end of the war, the first flame was weakened and an age of darkness was awaiting. He travelled to the kiln of the first flame, sacrificing a fraction of his strength of his Lord Soul to rekindle the Age of Fire. Those who assisted him absorbed some of his strength too, and from here on he was known only as the Lord of Cinder, still a powerful ruler, successful in his mission. In the wake of the rekindled flame, a plague diseased the land. With the absence of the Age of Darkness, the curse of undeath spread to the people, stealing their peace after death, whilst they await their sending to the undead asylum. An undead body decays and withers, suffering on, becoming unendingly hostile if they are unable to find solace in the darkness. The Age of Fire lingers slowly and begins to fade like a folding star. A prophecy is foretold of an undead who will escape from the undead asylum and ring the bells of awakening in the broken lands of the old lords. The chosen undead would be able to attain the strength to defeat the Lord of Cinder and rekindle the first flame, sustaining light and the power of those who rule the world. With time, the prophecy was fulfilled, and the chosen undead defeated Gwyn with the assistance of greater powers that would try to manipulate him. Ancient beings from before the Age of Fire tell the chosen undead he can release the power of Gwyn and leave the fire unburning. The Age of Darkness will rise, and the chosen undead will become Lord of Darkness, ruler of a cursed world on the precipice of its demise. If the fire is relit, the chosen undead sacrifices his powers, rebirthing the Age of Fire. With his essence consumed, the world would continue on without him, and the gods would continue their rule. The chosen undead faces a simple choice: rule a cursed world, or die in its rebirthing fire.